Good evening. I would like to invite all of you to our 2020 virtual University of Minnesota Residency Program graduation. In this time of pandemic, it has been a time of change. And that change includes a graduation celebration virtually, where we come together in our spirits to congratulate this incredible class and their accomplishments in education. With the coronavirus pandemic of 2020, we have had many adjustments that have included both grief and opportunity. Here tonight, we are sad that we cannot gather together in person to drink and dine and celebrate Atasha, Eileen, Sam, Andrew, Celestine, Ben, and Lauren's accomplishments as they graduate from our residency program. And yet, virtually, we have the opportunity to welcome family across many miles. I would like to welcome Atasha's family from Vancouver and Washington, Eileen's family from Dayton, Ohio and Maple Grove, Sam's family from St. Paul, Andrew's family from Stillwater, Ben's family from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and Louisville, Kentucky, Lauren's family from here in Minneapolis, and Celestine's family from Taiwan, from Texas, and from California. What a great opportunity to all come together and celebrate virtually. The University of Minnesota knows how to train orthopedic medical students to become competent, board-certified, ethical orthopedic surgeons. Since the university and the VA residency programs combined in 1987, we have trained and graduated approximately 175 now practicing board-certified orthopedic surgeons, delivering quality musculoskeletal care to Minnesotans, Midwesterners, across America, and internationally, particularly fostered by our Resident International Services Award promoting international volunteerism. In years past, Dr. Cloesy had a mentoring lecture series where faculty gave grand rounds outlining their careers as examples to others to understand career development in orthopedic surgery. In January of 2015, I gave my career lecture right here as the grand rounds during interview day when this class was interviewing for residency positions. At that time, I outlined the obstacles of gender inclusion and the importance of gender inclusion here at the University of Minnesota. While 7% of orthopedic surgeons nationally are female, I am pleased and proud to present that this year's class is over 50% female graduating here from the University of Minnesota. Congratulations to all of us on this accomplishment in gender diversity. As a program, we continue to strive for every faculty member, every resident, and every employee to become better equipped to confront our own biases, have uncomfortable conversations, and take action to be inclusive to all aspects of diversity, particularly in this time in our country and in Minneapolis. In classic surgical training, we instruct orthopedic residents in surgical skills and patient care. We have come to recognize that just as important as surgical skills is physician well-being and leadership. These behavioral skills augment the medical knowledge and patient care skills that our residency class has learned during this program. That is why we continue to emphasize physician and well-being as important core values of our program. Each of our graduating residents today has exemplified professionalism through their residency training. These 7 residents presented to our program in June of 2015. They had already each completed 13 years of K-12, 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school, and now embarking on 5 years of surgical training. What accomplishment. Congratulations to all of you. They present as medical students, just a seed that will grow roots and sprout. They bud and they bloom, and then they flower. As a faculty, we know that each student is a growing plant, not yet a rose, but with full potential to be a rose. Who provides the soil, the water, the sun for growth? Each family, parents, siblings, spouses, children, significant others If you were here tonight, we would have you all rise and stand because we want to celebrate the nurturing that you have provided for each of these residents as they have gone through this program. I would also like to thank our education program, Eric Solberg, then Betsy Werwein, now Kathleen Javor, Alyssa Boos, and the department administration, not just here at the university, but also at each of our sites. I want to thank Gillette, Regions, TRIA, Hennepin, and the VA. I also want to thank Bree Vatans and Erica Stanglin here from the university for supporting this graduation this evening. And a sincere thanks to our faculty. We will hear more from the residents regarding specific growth that they found helpful during their residency training from specific faculty. But each and every faculty member plays a very important and specific role in the overall development and growth of our orthopedic surgery residents. Again, if we were here together tonight, I would have those faculty members stand for recognition. During their internship year, our residents spend time on subspecialties outside of orthopedic surgery for 6 months, and also an introduction to our orthopedic surgery rotations for 6 months. During their second year, this residency class in 2016 and 17 spent 6 months at Gillette, and I thank the Gillette faculty, the Gillette site leader, Dr. Deb Quanbeck, and then medical director, Dr. Stephen Koop. Then they spend 6 months at Regions, and I would like to thank our site director, Dr. Sarah Anderson, and chair, Dr. Peter Cole. During 2017-18, these residents spent 6 months at the VA, and I would like to thank our chief of orthopedics at the VA, Dr. Franklin Seacrest, and our site director, Dr. Patrick Yoon, and our faculty there. And 6 months at Hennepin County Medical Center. Again, I would like to thank Drs. Tom Varecka and Jess Downs as site directors, and Dr. Andy Schmidt as the chair at Hennepin. During their 2018-2019 year, the residents spent 12 months in subspecialty rotations. I would like to thank the faculty at the University of Minnesota, at TRIA, and at Children's. And then this chief year, they have rotated back to each of these sites as chief residents and helped orchestrate our COVID rotations. On a personal note, I feel very attached and appreciative to this class of 2020. I began again as a program director in 2016 when this class was just interns. Together, we have faced obstacles and challenges as they have progressed through our ever-improving, ever-changing, ever-innovating residency program. This class has exemplified leadership, for example, as we have retooled to meet the demands of delivering medical care in the COVID pandemic. So from me to you, thank you for your teamwork, for your professionalism, and for your friendship. So let's begin. Earlier today, we had a face-to-face, less than 10 people, socially distanced senior research presentation. Now we are ready to present the 2020 graduates of the University of Minnesota Residency Program. Our first resident is Dr. Atasha Bhatt. Atasha came to us from the University of Washington School of Medicine. She finished her 5 years here and now will be staying with us at the Regions Hospital Hand Surgery Fellowship. And to introduce Dr. Bhatt is Dr. Franklin Seacrest, our Chief of Orthopedics at the VA Medical Center.
My name is Franklin Seacrest. I'm the Chief of Orthopedics at the Minneapolis Veterans Affairs Medical Center, and it is my great honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Atasha Bhatt. Atasha, my excellent colleague, congratulations on your graduation and completion of this excellent orthopedic surgery training program. The University of Minnesota Department of Orthopedic Surgery is also my program, and so I speak from real experience when I assure you that you are indeed ready to get going as the most capable and qualified medical professional and surgeon. Natasha, you are one of the best and brightest. And over the last 5 years, it's been my great privilege to teach and mentor you, to serve alongside you, to play some small part in your growth as a surgeon, and now to honor you at this graduation ceremony. Reflecting on our time together, I think on the challenging cases that we co-managed during your VA tours, your steady development as a confident clinician and surgeon, your outstanding and impactful leadership as the chief during the extraordinary circumstances we faced and overcame during the COVID-19 pandemic. Most of all, I think of you as a steadfast and excellent colleague. The countless times after 5 p.m. when you would come into my office, sit down, and debrief me with your situation reports, our discussions of what was accomplished that day, what yet needed to be accomplished, and what was your plan to get it done. I always appreciated that you presented me with solutions, not problems. Natasha, there are attributes of professionalism that are difficult to teach, yet they're essential for success in orthopedics. As an educator, I always appreciated and greatly respected that you arrived at this program already as an outstanding professional and individual. From the time you were an intern, I could recognize that who you already were would ultimately guarantee your success. So from the very beginning, you were my excellent junior officer in whom I could always entrust any mission-critical task and on whom I could always depend to get the job done. And so, Natasha, for the record, the following are a list of all the orthopedic skills that I did not teach you, but from which all of us greatly benefited. Your excellent judgment, your ability to think about things clearly and calmly, your dependability to perform your duties properly and completely, your initiative to complete the mission, your decisiveness to calmly, quickly, and firmly make good decisions without delay, your tact to deal with others deftly but always being polite, poised, and firm, your integrity to do the right thing at all times, regardless of any personal cost or credit to you, your endurance and sheer stamina and ability to withstand fatigue, your bearing, your manner, and even your posture reflect alertness, competence, confidence, and control. Your unselfishness, gladly giving credit to all those who deserve it, your courage to stand up for what is right and accept blame for things that are your fault, your sense of justice for being fair and consistent, your loyalty, and lastly, your enthusiasm, your sincere exuberance when performing your duties. Like a rising tide that lifts all ships, your consistent, cheerful demeanor and good humor always lifted spirits. Natasha, all of these qualities continue to allow you to effortlessly and consistently perform routine tasks in an outstanding manner. Without question, you are ready for your next steps as the Regions Hospital Hand Surgery Fellow and for a brilliant career that will follow. I want to again congratulate you on your life and accomplishments thus far. I want to remind you how special the professional and personal relationships you have formed here in Minnesota are, and these relationships will be lifelong. I want to personally thank you for your tremendous and highly tangible contributions to veterans healthcare over the years. You are an outstanding colleague and always rose to the occasion. Finally, it is impossible to emphasize with adequate force just how proud I am of you, Natasha, and just how grateful I am to have had the honor and privilege to have been a part of your life, career, and development. Fair winds and following seas, Natasha, and above all, bravo Zulu for a job well done.
I just want to start out by saying thank you so much to all of the faculty at all of our sites that all that you do to teach us residents. Thank you for your patience, your kindness, and your willingness to teach. I truly appreciate all that you do and the sacrifices that you make to spend time teaching us. Thank you for pushing me to become a better physician and a better surgeon. I feel so incredibly lucky and excited to spend one more year with you doing my hand fellowship. A special thank you to Dr. Seacrest for introducing me tonight. Your open door, open ears, and kind words have helped me reason through one of the hardest parts of residency: what happens when it's all over and what comes next. To all of my co-residents, what a ride it has been. The 6 of you have been absolutely amazing. I feel truly lucky to have ended up spending 5 years in the trenches with you. I feel so lucky that we've made a great team and have always been there for each other. I'm so excited to see where the future takes us all. I'm going to miss you all so much next year. To the residents, thank you for all of your hard work, your camaraderie, and for keeping me on my toes and helping me become a better leader. I'm excited to stay on and work with some of you next year. Thank you to all the admins and the APPs for all of your hard work to keep this program and respective services running at all of our sites. And finally, thank you to my family. Thank you, Mom, for teaching me how to be stubborn and determined. Thank you, Dad, for being a constant source of calm, optimism, and positivity. Thank you to my Aunt Gira for sparking and encouraging academic curiosity in me from a very early age. For my brother, thank you for being there for Mom and Dad over the past 5 years when I've been out of state. You are a genuinely amazing person, and I look up to you every single day. To my in-laws, Lou, Cosette, and Grandma Wanda, thank you for being my home away from home. Your love and support have meant the world to me. And finally, to my husband, Greg, you were the most unexpected and the best part of the last 5 years of my life. Thank you for being both my best ally, but also my greatest critic. I can go on, but in short, you make me a better person and a better physician. I feel incredibly lucky every single day to have you in my life. I cannot thank you enough for taking a huge leap of faith, moving out to Washington, and waiting for me to finish up grade 26. I cannot wait until the day that we're finally in the same place. Only one more year to go. I love you. Again, thank you to everyone. It's been an amazing 5 years. I truly appreciate it.
Congratulations, Atasha, and thank you, Dr. Sechrist. Our next resident will be Dr. Eileen Eggenberger. Dr. Eggenberger graduated from the University of Minnesota Medical School, has now finished her 5 years of residency here, and will be going on to an adult recon fellowship with the Joint Implant Surgeons in New Albany, Ohio. Dr. Eggenberger will be introduced by Dr. Sarah Anderson, the site director from Regents Hospital.
Good evening. It gives me great pleasure to introduce graduating senior resident Eileen Eggenberger. Eileen is a fantastic resident and has a really interesting story. She is the daughter of Tom and Healy, wife of Ryan, and mother to Finn, Sloan, and Regan, all of which came into the world during her orthopedic surgery residency. So if you had to have any more challenges added on to orthopedic residency, just ask Eileen. And then, of course, the end of her residency tied into COVID and all those types of things as well. So my first memory of Eileen was when she was an intern, and she was on the neurosurgery rotation at Regents, and she was 9 months pregnant. And I heard about this amazing, hardworking resident who wasn't taking any accommodations, being that she was going to deliver any moment. And I said to myself, wow, that girl's got some grit. And then 2 more children during residency. And she chooses a fellowship, which is quite demanding in total joint arthroplasty. So I asked her family and her husband what they had to say about Eileen. So Ryan, her husband, said his favorite thing about his wife is that she makes a plan and then accomplishes whatever she sets out to do, as you can witness from her experience in residency and also experiences prior to that, including running a marathon during medical school. Mom and Dad echo that she's always been one to pursue a goal with intensity and bring it to completion. She came on the scene of Irish dancing a little bit late at age 12. For those of you who didn't know, Eileen is a tremendous championship level Irish dancer and apparently has been known to dance on top of bar tables. But that's another story. So she came on to Irish dancing at about 12, and it takes a long time to really get good at it. And she wanted to make it to the top level, and so that led to her driving 2.5 hours once a week during college so that she could complete her training and make it to the highest level in dance. So coming on late and sort of changing course is nothing new for Eileen. As you may know, she was previously an engineer at Stryker. She initially had some interest in medicine early on, but when she was shadowing an ER doc, she actually passed out. So she felt that she couldn't probably make it in medicine. However, then as a biomedical engineer, she was in cadaver labs and in the operating room and realized that she had gotten past whatever those early problems were, and then she decided to turn to medicine and henceforward orthopedic surgery. So as you may also know, for those of you who worked with Eileen, she's very quiet, but gets a lot done. And Mom and Dad say this started early on, has always been part of her. She is humble and reserved, but still gets things accomplished and can exert her influence without seeming bossy. One of these examples was when she talked the family into buying a full-size 12-passenger van when she was 15. As one of 6 children, they needed more space, and Eileen thought it was time. And it was a good choice that she did this because that later became her limo for her wedding day. In addition to perseverance and stamina and willing to work hard despite lots of challenges, I wanted to know a little bit more about what her family would say about Eileen. So you've heard what Ryan, her husband, and her parents have commented on. And then Ryan did me the courtesy of asking the children what they say about their mom. So he gave me some great feedback, and Eileen's a great mom according to all reports. Finn says, Mom loves Finn. Mom's favorite food is chocolate, and Mom makes him feel special when she reads him bedtime stories. And the fact that she can do that as an orthopedic resident must mean we're not working her hard enough. I'm kidding. Sloan says Mom loves chocolate. Her favorite food is chocolate. And Sloan feels special when Mommy shares her chocolate with Sloan. So I think that Ryan commented that clearly chocolate is a big part of Eileen's life. So in the future, Eileen, I wish you the best of luck. She is moving on to Total Joint Fellowship in Ohio and then returning to the Metro to be a local arthroplasty surgeon. I wish you the best of luck, lots of chocolate, and lots of bedtime stories with your children. Thank you for all your work.
Thank you so much to Dr. Anderson for introducing me tonight. Dr. Anderson is one of the many faculty who have been instrumental in getting me here today. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and now I know it takes a village to raise an orthopedic surgeon. Dr. Brayman, Dr. Arndt, and Dr. Meyerhoff all gave me a phenomenal sub-I experience as a medical student. Dr. Brayman fielded my panicked phone call the night before match day when I suddenly decided I needed a plan B. Dr. Harrison, Dr. Anderson, Dr. Van Hees, Dr. Bone, and Dr. Downs were all phenomenal examples of what it means to be a surgeon mom. Dr. Harrison would let me scrub out to pump while she closed her incisions. Dr. Anderson met me for coffee during a particularly difficult time. Dr. Van Heest and Dr. Bone never fail to ask about my family before we get down to the business part of the meeting. And I don't want anyone to think it was just females that supported me. There were so many male attendings who were also there for me during challenging times. It is hard to articulate how important these moments were to me, and to me that is what makes this program great. My experience would not have been the same without my co-residents there by my side. Each class takes on a different personality, and I am so grateful to have been a part of mine. Each person's heart is truly in the right place, both at work and at home. And they have not only supported me, but they've also supported my family. Sam and Andrew, you chose your wives well. I have been so grateful to them for the way they adopted Ryan and the way your kids became my kids' first friends. I also wanted to thank the residents in the classes behind me. It was a pleasure to work with you this year, and I hope I was able to teach you something of value because I certainly learned lessons from you. Any other year you would have met the people I'm going to thank next. They are the people whose names deserve to be on this diploma along with mine. I absolutely would not have made it through without them. My husband, Ryan, doesn't want to be thanked, but at this point he has enough orthopedic knowledge to be a very efficient intern. He has been making my dreams come true for 15 years. My son, Finn, was with me from day one. He always asks what bones I fixed today, and just like a true orthopedic surgeon, he's disappointed to hear it was a clinic day. My daughter, Sloan, was with me through many late nights at Regions, and she'd give me encouraging kicks while I presented during fracture rounds. And my newest daughter, Regan, is absolutely delightful and cuddly, and it's already made me a better doctor. She has taught me that diabetes is a much more difficult disease than I ever realized, and that our anesthesia colleagues are amazing. I am the most proud of these three, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for them. I want to thank my parents, Tom and Healy, who take my phone calls as I drive home. I think they're afraid I'll fall asleep. Even though they live in Ohio, they never hesitate to come to Minnesota when I need them. I can't wait to spend fellowship closer to them. My in-laws, Jerry and Joanne, live in Maple Grove, and they have adopted me as their own. The amount of babysitting help they have provided over the last 5 years has been incredible, and I am beyond grateful for the relationship that they have formed as grandparents. Lastly, my siblings and siblings-in-laws. There are a lot of them, 12, and each is amazing. Seamus, Liam, and Mark live in Minnesota, and they are the majority of our social life. When I moved to Minnesota, I never imagined having my brothers here. My sisters, Stacy and Molly, are both in medicine, and they are great for swapping stories. And my sister Sheila is thankfully not in medicine, and she can talk about anything else. I wish we could all be together today to celebrate. I wish all of you could meet. And there are so many others that I'd like to thank in person. It's been an amazing 5 years. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Eggenberger, and thank you, Dr. Anderson. Next will be Dr. Sam Russ. Sam came to us here from the University of Minnesota Medical School, has now completed his residency program, and will be going on to do a foot and ankle fellowship through the New England Foot and Ankle Specialists in Portland, Maine. He will be introduced today from our foot and ankle specialist at the VA, Dr. Patrick Yoon.
Hi, Pat Yoon here from the Minneapolis VA, just one of the 60-plus people in this program who've all played a small part in bringing you the 7 graduates tonight. It's my great honor tonight to introduce our next graduate, Sam Russ, on his and his family's big night. I've had the pleasure of knowing Sam since he was a medical student, I believe a second-year medical student, as we were volunteering together at the Finish Line Medical Tent at the Twin Cities Marathon. People can change over time, but if you've known Sam then and now, you've probably realized that he's the same nice, humble, laid-back guy now that he was back then. Over the years, I've continued to have the luck to work with him in medical school and residency. For example, when he rotated at HCMC with us as a third-year medical student. What stuck out in my mind then was how stellar he was and how lucky we'd be if we got him to come, and luckily for him and for us, we got him to come here. I remember as a third-year resident watching his growing interest in foot and ankle and watching his growing confidence as a surgeon. Over a beer here, coffee there, and nerding out occasionally over foot and ankle minutia. I've had a lot of fun watching him develop as a surgeon and helping him map out his career. Throughout it all, he's continued to maintain his humility, being a nice guy, being a great teacher to junior residents, and his enthusiasm for teaching really shines through when he's, for example, helping you dissect out and demonstrate the Mercedes sign in the ankle. He's remained humble, kind, dedicated to his faith, committed to his family, and I'm supremely confident that the commitment to these basics that got him here will continue to see him to success in the future. This night is also a chance to recognize and thank those who've brought in and helped get him here, including his wife, Caitlin, his children, Luke, Tommy, and Grace, his parents, Dave and Joanne, and his siblings, Emma and John. This night should be just as much about them as it is him. So with that, let's raise our virtual glasses and have a toast to Sam Russ. Sam, you've worked hard, you deserve this, congratulations, and all the best to you in the future. Good luck.
Obviously, at the end of our chief year is not what we expected it to be, or not probably what any of us wanted, but a little over a month ago, Dr. Van Heest asked each of us in our class what we wanted or needed out of a graduation. And I think universally what each of us said is that we needed an opportunity to say thank you. I wish we were all together this evening to celebrate as a program, but I don't think the situation at all diminishes the sense of accomplishment or gratitude each of us feels as we prepare to take the next steps in our orthopedic careers. My first thank you is to God. My faith is my rock and the sustaining force that has helped me throughout these years. All the glory is to Him, and I feel truly blessed to be at this point. Thank you to the program, to Dr. Van Heest and Dr. Closey for letting me be a part of it, and to all the staff in the program who have provided amazing training over these past 5 years. I think we as residents sometimes take for granted the world-class quality of the training we receive here. I'm not a finished product, and I probably never will be, but I do feel ready to take the next step thanks to all of you. There are so many individual faculty who have had an influence on me and who have been important to me over the years. I wish I had time to thank each of you by name. I do want to make a special shout out to the Foot Ferry crew, Drs. Yoon, Anderson, Downs, and Mazuka, for their consistent support and mentorship. Thank you to my classmates. We've certainly had our ups and downs, but I am so proud to be graduating with you wonderful people and surgeons. We've supported each other and been a great team for the past 5 years, and I'm truly grateful for the relationships we've built. Thanks also to all the junior residents who worked their tails off so I could sleep at home a little more often this year. You've taught me a lot, and I hope we can all stay in touch. To my brother and sister, thank you for all your support and love over the years. I especially need to thank my mom and dad. Thank you for raising me to be the man that I am today. You are the ones who taught me all the qualities that have allowed me to get to this point, and you will always be my role models. I hope you see this graduation as much as your accomplishment as it is mine. Thanks to my children, Luke, Thomas, and Grace. You have had to sacrifice more than you know for me to complete my training, and that is not lost on me. I love you, and I look forward to watching you grow as we continue this adventure as a family. Last but certainly not least, thank you to my beautiful wife, Caitlin. You have given up so much so that I can pursue this dream of becoming an orthopedic surgeon. You function as a single parent. You are a wonderful mother to our children, and you have your own interests and career, and you do it all with joy and grace. You're a constant blessing in my life. I just want to say thank you. So congratulations to all of my classmates, and thank you.
Congratulations, Sam, and thank you, Patrick. Next will be Dr. Andrew Schmiesing. Dr. Schmiesing came to us from Eastern Virginia Medical School. He has finished his 5 years here at the University of Minnesota Residency program, and he is going on to a sports medicine fellowship through Kaiser Permanente in Orange County, California. He will be introduced today by our site director here at University of Minnesota and total joint surgeon, Dr. Patrick Horst.
In preparation for this introduction, I reached out to Andrew's baseball coach at St. Olaf to see what Andrew was like back as a young professional baseball player. His coach talked about what an incredible teammate and hardworking student athlete Andrew was. How much he enjoyed the opportunity to work with and coach Andrew for his few years at St. Olaf. His coach then paused, kind of laughed to himself, and said, "What else can I tell you about Andrew?" He said, "One thing that sticks out about Andrew is how skilled and talented he was as a hitter. He was so good that I wouldn't let any of the hitting coaches instruct Andrew on his swing for fear that we'd somehow mess up his talent." His coach said it was clear that Andrew's swing was something he had worked very hard over many years to accomplish. The second his coach said that, I instantly flashed back to a time that I was in the operating room with Andrew. He was doing an intramedullary nail. He was moving through the case so efficiently, so thoughtfully, and skillfully, it looked like he'd done it over 1,000 times. I was thinking to myself, I'd better keep quiet and let him keep going so I don't somehow mess this up. It was clear to me, as it was to Andrew's baseball coach, that Andrew's skills in the operating room were developed over many years of hard work and diligence. What has impressed me most about my time at the University of Minnesota and getting to know Andrew has also impressed many of the faculty here is his quiet, reserved leadership skills, his humility, his work ethic, his thoughtful and caring nature, his even-keeled demeanor, and the apparent ease at which he accomplishes complex and challenging tasks. Over the last few years, I've heard countless hospital staff, faculty members, co-residents, and clinic staff praise Andrew for these qualities. During his 4th year at the University of Minnesota, Andrew took it upon himself to think about and develop new ideas for including a night float system into the rotation to help with service coverage issues. This is now in the system that we currently have in place and plan to continue using in the future, and is a testament to Andrew's natural leadership skills. So Andrew, from one Stillwater pony to another, and on behalf of our department, I would like to wish you congratulations on the completion of your residency training. Thank you for your hard work, your thoughtful nature, and the example you set for the residents in our program. We are grateful to have had the opportunity to work with and learn from you over the past 5 years. Twin Cities Orthopedics and the people back out in Stillwater are lucky to have you back. Congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you, Dr. Horst, Dr. Van Heest. The graduation ceremony and event is some of my favorite memories over the course of residency. It's so fun to get everybody together and see people you haven't seen in so long. I think as you're so busy moving from one site to the next and one place to the next, you kind of lose track of where you've been, and you lose track of the big picture. You know, you get so busy taking call and trying to learn to be a surgeon that you kind of miss that 10,000-foot view. And so graduation is a great time to reflect on that. And, you know, for me, it reminds me of how lucky I am to be in orthopedics. You know, it's such a great specialty and something that I've enjoyed so much. And I feel so lucky to do it after getting into medical school with a GPA just over 3 and then into one of the most competitive specialties. So I feel very fortunate. It also, you know, reminds me of all the great sites we have to train at, all the valuable and unique experiences we get at each of these sites to help us grow and mature as surgeons and as physicians. I'm reminded of all the great support staff, coordinators, administration, and APPs that we have to help us get where we're going and be ready to go when we get there. And to the APPs who help us with the burden of service at times in our job and help us focus on education. And then to the countless number of great faculty we have in the program who do what they do to help train and educate the next generation of orthopedic surgeons. I think that's my favorite part of the graduation ceremony, is seeing all of the faculty that you haven't seen in a year or two, and you're reminded of the positive impact they've had on your training and how they've helped you get where you are. So though I may have missed my opportunity day to day, thank you to the support staff, the administration, coordinators, APPs, and especially the faculty for your guys' commitment and help with resident education. I want to thank my co-residents, specifically my 6 classmates, for your camaraderie and your banter over the last 5 years, whether or not that comes natural to you or you've had to adapt. I appreciate going to work with you guys. You've made it more enjoyable and more fun. Thank you for going on the journey with me. I wanted to thank my family, specifically my parents, Mike and Sandy, and my in-laws, Pat and Mary, for your support and your help over the last 5 years. We were so fortunate to have matched at Minnesota and be close to home, to allow the kids to spend time with their grandparents, and for your guys' support and your help over the years, specifically helping Amy as she, was rearing and managing 2 boys while I was at work most of the time, and then when I'm not at work, managing 3 boys. So we appreciate your guys' help and support. We all make sacrifices to be orthopedic surgeons, and we make those sacrifices, knowing what we're getting into, and we make those sacrifices on behalf of our families. And so, as much as my wife supported my decision to go to medical school and to pursue orthopedics, I don't think she probably quite knew what it all entailed and what she was getting into, from, sleeping at the hospital, a decent portion of residency, to being completely unreliable and unpredictable when it comes to estimating the time I'd be home at the end of the day, yet being so reliable at falling asleep on the couch at 7:30 in the evening. So thank you for your tolerance and patience and forgiveness, if not in the moment, at least sometime afterward. So I appreciate your support and helping me be successful in learning the importance of the work-life balance. So while I missed the opportunity to see everybody, to say hello and say thank you to everybody, I think this sort of virtual graduation is a good reflection time, for me, on how far I've come with residency, hopefully for the more junior residents, how far you've come and where you're headed, and for the faculty to reflect on the positive impact you've had on my experience and hopefully the experience of all of us graduating. The University of Minnesota has, I think, been a great experience for me and prepared me well to be a great orthopedic surgeon. And so thank you to all of you who've had a hand in getting me to where I am today. Thank you.
Congratulations, Andrew, and thank you, Patrick, for that introduction. Next will be Dr. Celestine Shih. Dr. Shih comes to us from Yale School of Medicine. She has completed her 5 years here at the University of Minnesota and will be going on to do a pediatric orthopedic fellowship at DuPont Hospital for Children in Wilmington, Delaware. She will be introduced today by Dr. Deb Quanbeck, who is our site director at Gillette Children's Specialty Care.
In preparation for this introduction, I had the pleasure of connecting with some of Celestine's family and friends and want to introduce them. They are Neil Gregerson, her boyfriend, Celestine's parents, Drs. Jane Liu and Ted Shih, her grandparents, Ellen Shih and Dr. Morris Liu, and close friends, Dr. Ed Kaplan, University of Minnesota Professor Emeritus, and Ed's wife, Irene. Celestine's parents emigrated from Taiwan in 1982 in pursuit of the American dream for themselves and for their future children. Her father is a cardiologist and her mother is a pharmacist. Given Celestine's strong medical provider family history, it is not surprising that she decided to become a physician. With an undergraduate degree in biomedical engineering and her personality, she is fiercely independent, spirited, curious, stubborn, modest, and fun. It is no wonder she chose to be an orthopedic surgeon. One of my first experiences with Celestine was during a surgical simulation. Studying for the session, she read beyond the required materials and considered relevant questions. As she restored alignment and fixed the fractured femur, I could feel her orthopedic engineer's wheels turning and see her commitment to her career aspiration, that of applying biomechanical principles and technology to improve a patient's function. Her performance in that lab was the best I have ever observed. Celestine, in the future, you will have the daily opportunity to strive for your goal of providing outstanding care for every child, including the underserved. You will help them to realize their potential and achieve their dreams and those of their parents. In closing, I would like to read the first stanza of Dreams, a Langston Hughes poem which is especially meaningful during the troubling time of social injustice and the pandemic. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Celestine, congratulations to you and the others. We thank each of you for your dedication and hard work. Please remember that this entire orthopedic community remains here to support you. You are our legacy, and when you have a dream, we share it with you.
So when I was a med student, I had an attending who once told me, Celestine, I'm going to bring on the heat and the pressure to transform you from a piece of organic matter into a diamond. Now, he used a less polite term for a piece of organic matter, but you get the gist. I think that residency has been all about transformation, and I wanted to pay homage to a few particular sites that I felt were key in my own transformation, and to really thank the people who helped me move forward. So first of all, to Regions, thank you for taking on the challenge of transforming us from interns into G2s. That's where I first learned that I don't know what I don't know, and I figured out how to identify gaps in my own learning and areas to improve. And to Gillette, thank you so much for all of your patience and your kindness. Y'all really laid down the fundamentals of preoperative planning and how to think like a surgeon for us. And also, all of you at Gillette are incredible about giving us back the knife after demonstrating a technique. That is more powerful than you can know for a new surgical learner who's just trying to learn how to move their hands in an operative field. And I feel like that's where I started to get a feeling of where my hands are in space and how to use the tools properly. And then Hennepin, you are my trial by fire. I feel like Hennepin was probably the most difficult time for me in residency, and I want to thank the faculty there for not giving up on me, and especially to Dr. Geisler for taking the time to give me feedback, act as a sounding board, and provide guidance and mentorship at a time that I really needed it. It means more than you can know, and really thank you from the bottom of my heart. And to the VA, thank you for giving me a place to kind of recover, reset, and rethink my strategy for being a resident, because that was a critical time for me, I think, to turn 180 and return to Hennepin as almost like a new G3 who was ready to attack problems from a new angle. And Dr. Seacrest, thank you for all those hours and conversations we spent on your couch, just helping me figure things out, and again, providing that guidance and mentorship that I really needed at that time. To the university, it's G4 is a whole new beast, and I know that y'all do your best to try and help us learn the system and figure it out, and I think y'all do a good job. And I feel like also fourth year is where I really learned to hone my thinking and planning and organizational skills to a new level in preparation for chief year, where we return to all of those sites as this time as leaders and as team organizers. And to the faculty at all the sites, thanks for letting us kind of go wild as chiefs and having faith in us to tackle problems and just giving us that little nudge and that little push when we need it, but not, still letting us have that autonomy to explore and learn on our own. And then there are a couple of other people too. Dr. Polly, you are an incredible advocate. Thank you so much for teaching me not just how to be a good surgeon in the OR, but how to lead the OR in a time of crisis. I remember particularly one instance in a surgery. You were calm and inflappable, and that has remained in my mind ever since. To Dr. Lane, Dr. Mill, and Dr. Georgiadis, all those nights spent on call with you at Children's were actually some of the best in residency. That was so much fun. Thank you. And to Dr. Novacek, you've been an incredible research mentor and just also, kind of a role model for how a great pediatric orthopedic surgeon should be. And thank you for being willing to work with us and teach us everything you know. To Dr. Kwanbeck, who has kindly agreed to introduce me for this virtual graduation ceremony, thank you for being a wonderful teacher and mentor and advocate for the residents at Gillette. You really helped set up that surgical skills simulation lab, which I know has really helped us advance our own surgical skills by leaps and bounds. And then also to my family, you have been unwaveringly supportive of me through this 10-year journey. Sorry, I swore I wouldn't cry. 谢谢你们，没有你们我没办法成功. That was in Mandarin for my family. And to Neil, my boyfriend. You've been my rock for all these 5 years. The best part of my post-call days was getting to see you. Thank you. Love you. And, to Ed and Irene Kaplan, y'all are my Minnesota family. Absolutely, from the bottom of my heart, I hope to come back for many more Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners with you and your family. And, to also Gary and Velda Gregerson, y'all have also been incredibly supportive and so warm-hearted. Thank you for, I wish I could give y'all a hug right now. I don't know what else to say. I guess going back to how I started this speech, I feel like I still am a piece of amorphous organic matter that has a long way to go before I reach the level of a diamond. But I feel like I've finally started to transform into the person and the surgeon that I wanted to be. And everyone here at the University of Minnesota, both on the medical side and the non-medical side, my family and my friends, both my family in Texas, Taiwan, and, here in Minnesota, y'all have armed me with the skills and the confidence that I need to move forward and keep working on it. So, thank you.
Congratulations, Celestine, and thank you, Dr. Kwanbeck. Next will be Dr. Ben Williams. Dr. Williams came to us from University of Michigan Medical School. He has completed his 5 years here in our residency program and is going on to do a foot and ankle fellowship at the Hospital for Special Surgery in New York, New York.
I'm honored to present Dr. Ben Williams as a 2020 graduate of the University of Minnesota Department of Orthopedic Surgery residency program. I met Ben when he was assigned to do a hand surgery rotation as an intern. He turned out to be a wonderful contrast to the usual tired PGY4. He was such an earnest and eager learner. He came to clinic with a shirt and tie, a crisp, clean coat, and neatly combed hair. He was interested in everything. He actually kept a little notebook in his pocket that he would surreptitiously pull out and write down things that I said. He then returned for an unprecedented second hand surgery rotation as a fourth year. We had such great rotations that I was certain I could turn him into a hand surgeon, despite his previous experience as a foot and ankle researcher at the Hospital for Special Surgery. That first year, I could not have imagined the transformation and growth I would see in this young doctor. He came to Minnesota from his hometown of Pittsburgh via HSS and then the University of Michigan Medical School. In addition to the usual rigors of residency, Ben has worked to develop his leadership skills and an interest in education through membership on the Program Evaluation Committee, participation in residence as teachers, and as his class representative. But indeed, the most remarkable thing about Ben's residency career is that he is a powerhouse researcher. He has published an astonishing 14 peer-reviewed articles in his 5 years of residency. Despite my hopes and best efforts at conversion, Ben leaves us to return to the Hospital for Special Surgery for a foot and ankle fellowship. I am extremely excited to follow Ben's career. He is a bright academic star, and I expect he will become a respected national leader in orthopedic surgery in general and a foot and ankle surgery in particular. Ben, I wish you great success, bold happiness, and a peaceful heart as you move to the next stage of your career. Congratulations.
As most of you don't know, I was an hour late on interview day. Google Calendar apparently shifts events as you change time zones. I immediately learned my error when I saw the horror on Betsy's face. She promptly seated me in the front left row next to whom only I can imagine Dr. Swintowski, Dr. Polly, or some other senior faculty member. Supposedly this was the only seat left. I still question that. I was certain I would be ranked last, and this had turned into a practice interview. Lo and behold, I must have somehow, thankfully, wooed my way into the program. It is not possible for me to fully express my gratitude or thank all of those who have influenced me. First, I would like to thank the foot and ankle faculty, Dr. Anderson, Dr. Downs, Dr. Pena, Dr. Mazuka, and Dr. Yoon. I learned so many nuanced ways of approaching similar problems, and I've had a wonderful time working with each and every one of you. To my research mentors, Dr. Swintowski, thank you for helping me see the forest for the trees and showing me that research can be a lifelong passion. Dr. Cunningham, I thoroughly enjoyed developing research projects with you and seeing the direct clinical application of our work. Dr. Van Heest, from you I learned a lot about the importance of resident education, curriculum evolution, and the inner workings of a residency program. Dr. Bone, I so appreciate you saw me holistically and always took an interest in my personal life just as much as my professional life. And to all those who have had a larger impact on me than they probably know. Dr. Joy, Dr. Geisler, Dr. Seacrest, Dr. Luna, Dr. Brayman, and Dr. Vareka, and all other faculty who have trained me diligently and immeasurably, I am indebted to you all. To my co-residents and junior residents, I had a blast working with all of you. Although the pandemic impacted our last several months, we worked together and made the best out of our difficult situation. As an example, Zurich and I combined our senior skills for our only case together by placing a long-arm splint on a patient who was subsequently found to be COVID positive. Thanks to all those who have supported me during difficult times, and thanks to all who brought the best out of residency. Most importantly, I'm profoundly grateful for my family. Thank you for being there. Thank you for listening and re-listening and understanding, or at least pretending to. Your love and support has been vital since the fateful day 35 years ago. I can never express enough gratitude for your love and support. Stephanie, Mom, and Dad, I love you. And finally, to the new and junior residents in the proverbial back tables. A lot happens in 5 years. Don't lose sight of who you are and who you are becoming. It is very easy to hunker down, shut the door on life outside of residency. Constantly remind yourself of what is important in your life. Do your best to stay present in your personal life as you do in your professional life. As cliche as it is, the days are long and the months and years are short. Don't let one case, one patient, or one evaluation negatively impact all the others or your sense of self-worth. In the end, everything will be okay. As a great poet once wrote, let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going, no feeling is final. Thank you.
Congratulations, Ben, and thank you, Deb. Next is Dr. Lauren Zurich. Lauren came to us here from the University of Minnesota Medical School. She has completed her orthopedic surgery residency program here and is now going to do a shoulder elbow fellowship at the Mount Sinai School of Medicine in New York, New York. She will be introduced today by Dr. Tom Vareka, our site director at Hennepin County Medical Center.
Hello, and welcome to all of our guests, faculty members, and especially to you, the graduates of the University of Minnesota Orthopedic Residency Program, class of 2020, likely to be known forever as the COVID kids. I'm Tom Vareka, faculty member from Hennepin County Medical Center. It is my great privilege and distinct honor to introduce to you an outstanding member of this year's graduating class, Dr. Lauren Zurich. I came to know Lauren when she rotated at HCMC early in her 4th year of medical school. During that time, she distinguished herself as an outstanding student and a residency candidate whom we had to have in our program. After she completed her rotation, and prior to my writing her a letter of recommendation, I consulted with a number of people at HCMC who had observed her and worked with Lauren during that rotation. And to a person, including then current residents, orthopedic staff members, OR and clinic nurses, clerical staff, you name it, each was effusive in their use of superlatives regarding Lauren's clinical performance, medical knowledge, and personal attributes. For anyone who knows Lauren, such accolades should not come as much of a surprise. She graduated from Wayzata High School, where she was captain of her hockey team. And Lauren, does this bring back some memories? You told me you were nostalgic, so I thought I would bring this along for you. Lauren went on to attend Williams College and again excelled academically and again captained her hockey team. Two early indications of Lauren's leadership and organizational abilities. She returned home to attend the University of Minnesota for medical school, continuing her academic and personal development. While rotating at HCMC, be it as a student, junior resident, or chief, it was obvious Lauren possessed that it factor. She is smart but not arrogant, assertive but not obnoxious, a leader but not bossy. Over the past year, she organized and led the monthly resident journal club sessions, giving of her time and talent. As a fifth-year resident at HCMC, she was caught in the onslaught of the coronavirus pandemic, completely upsetting what should have been a climactic time in training, a capstone moment as chief resident. Instead, she was called on to be the organizer of resident efforts in a situation that had no prior script, no instruction manual. It was necessary for her to be both a chief resident and on many nights to also act as a junior resident. She did both with graciousness, competence, and confidence, never complaining or exhibiting any bitterness or sense of loss. Lauren's time as a resident, unfortunately, was not all happy moments. During her residency, she lost her mother, Barb, during her junior resident rotation at HCMC. I knew Barb, Lauren's mom, as we served together on the advisory committee for the Midwest Medical Insurance Company, the Upper Midwest's largest medical malpractice underwriter. Barb was an attorney consultant with the company. I doubt that Barb ever knew that I was challenging Lauren as she was doing her medical student rotation until I mentioned it to Barb one evening after a board meeting. It was quite clear Barb was very proud of Lauren and her accomplishments, as well as being very thrilled when I told her of Lauren's exceptional medical student performance. Following graduation, Lauren will be heading to New York City to do a shoulder fellowship at Mount Sinai Hospital. Her goal is to return to Minnesota after fellowship, though as of now, Lauren is weighing a number of job opportunities and has not made any job commitments. It is certain, however, that she will land in a good spot, and wherever that may be, her professional colleagues will undoubtedly be left marveling at the good fortune that has befalling them in attracting someone of Lauren's ability and character. It would be easy to go on and on about Lauren and her achievements, but my time is running out. Suffice it to say that for those of us who have had the good fortune to work with Lauren and watch her development, it has been one of the great pleasures of being in academics and teaching. So I present Lauren Zirk, MD, orthopedic surgeon, and say, thank you for your contributions, Lauren. Congratulations on a job well done, and best wishes. And in the words of St. Francis, Pax et Bonum.
I'd like to start by thanking the residency faculty, not only for accepting me into the orthopedic surgery community, but also for patiently teaching me that very practice over the last 5 years. Credit is also due to the residency staff, from the mid-level providers to the OR and clinic staff to the administration for supporting me through those very 5 years. I'd like to thank the other residents in the program, those who came before me and those who are following. Your friendships are certainly a perk of the job. To my class, my co-residents, I'd like to thank you not only for the usual resident stuff from getting me through early morning rounding, late nights in the OR, and 24-hour call shifts, but most importantly to me, for supporting me and being there for me after the death of my mother, and then again a year later after the death of my brother, Andrew. I don't think many of you know how much that meant to me. Whether it was ushering in to cover call shifts without hesitancy because it was needed unexpectedly, to listening to me talk about them when I needed to, and for helping to maintain a sense of normalcy at work while I was wading through my new normal outside of work. I miss them both every day, but particularly on days like today. I so very wish that you could meet them. My mother would have loved to have heard about all of your plans for after residency and to give you all the advice you never knew you needed. And my brother would have laughed right alongside you at every embarrassing story that you could think of. Dad, it's been a tough 2 years. Thanks for being by my side as I get to this point in my career. Friends and family, thank you for cheering me on along the way. Finally, Jeff, thank you for not only cheering me on while you were working through your own residency, but for holding me together as I worked through everything that the last 5 years threw at me.
Congratulations, Lauren, and thank you, Dr. Vrecka, for that introduction.
Well, welcome this evening to the parents and the graduates, and my congratulations go out to the residents who are finishing their residency training and embarking upon their careers. I have the distinct honor of presenting to you the Adult Reconstructive Fellow, who is also finishing his fellowship year. His name is Paul Hogervorst, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about him. A quick summary of his life, I think would make a good storyline for a fairy tale of the type that we all dream about. So it would go something like this. Dutch surgeon meets beautiful American ballerina, falls in love, moves to America, the land of opportunity, has 2 kids, and lives happily ever after. More seriously, being Dutch, Paul's obviously from the Netherlands, or as we more commonly know as Holland, and did all of his initial training there through his residency and his fellowship. He did this at the academically acclaimed Radboud University Medical Center in Nijmegen. During his residency, his academic interests led him to publish 5 peer-reviewed publications, which is quite a feat, as most of our residents will attest to. His energy didn't stop with the papers, however, and his creative mind led him to invent, but also found a company to manufacture and market a novel implant for treatment of clavicle fractures. It's an intramedullary implant that is on the cusp of being marketed in Europe as we speak. Furthermore, he leveraged this interest and expertise that he developed in clavicle fractures into a PhD thesis and studied, and if it weren't for the coronavirus epidemic or pandemic right now, he would be in the Netherlands defending his PhD thesis this month. So I think those extra initials after your name, Paul, will have to wait until the coronavirus subsides. But we congratulate you nonetheless on your achievements. After residency, somehow Paul made a decision to move to the United States. I don't know how this decision came about, but I would love to talk to his wife, Joanna, more about that, as I'm sure she has a different story from Paul's. But he decided to pursue fellowships here in sports medicine. He was at San Francisco and also stayed on at the University of California, San Francisco for a trauma fellowship and did research there. We were fortunate to drag Paul away from San Francisco to Minnesota for his fellowship year this past year. And it was only after a few months of him being here and watching him operate and speak with him that I knew he'd be a good fit here in a longer term, and particularly as an addition to our faculty. So fortunately at that time we had initiated an effort to expand our adult reconstructive faculty, and so we pursued recruitment with Paul, and I'm pleased to inform you that this fall, Paul is not going anywhere actually. He's going to stay right here and join the faculty at the University of Minnesota's Orthopedic Surgery Department. So congratulations, Paul. Before concluding, I always like to share just a few personal thoughts and observations about quirks that fellows have. So the first you should know is that Paul is incredibly humble despite all the achievements, and I admire him greatly for that. On another level, a little more funny issue is that While caring for patients, most of you know that fellows will often see a patient first and then take their attending staff into the patient's room afterwards. Well, Paul gets the award for being the person most often to take me into the wrong patient's room. This would happen so often that I'd have to go in the patient's room and look at them and decide, did the story I just heard about fit this patient? And so Paul would regularly test me. On another personal level, the university faculty need to know who they're hiring, and so we've done our due diligence. As you can see from this photo, we've learned that Paul has an eclectic background and surely has many interesting experiences to share. I think the most appropriate comment here is, Paul, you've certainly come a long way. Paul, it's a great pleasure that I congratulate you on the finishing your Adult Reconstructive Fellowship and all of your formal training, and I look forward to your career blossoming and growing as part of our department at the University of Minnesota. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Dr. Hugervorst. We look forward to having you come back on faculty here at the U, and thank you, Ed, for that introduction. Next, we'd like to talk a little bit about our incoming class of residents, the class of 2025. We'd like to present those residents that have recently graduated from medical school and now will be joining us here in the residency program starting next Monday. Dr. Patrick Albright comes to us from Western Michigan University. Dr. Samuel Davidson comes to us from University of Nebraska. Dr. Alexa Flagstad comes to us from University of Minnesota. Dr. Taylor Friedley from the SUNY Upstate. Dr. Drew Ormseth from University of Illinois. Dr. Logan Reitz from Morehouse School of Medicine. Dr. Alexander Vasconcelos from University of Colorado. And Dr. Lily Wood from University of Minnesota. We look forward to the next 5 years together. Reflecting back on the last year, we would like to move now to our awards program. We would like to start first with the Gestilo Award.
I'm excited to announce the recipient of this year's Resident Teaching Award. Teaching medical students is a necessary part of the resident's duties. This award was created by Angela Honstead, a graduate from the class of 2018. Its purpose is to honor those residents who devote themselves to teaching others while in the midst of their own learning. As they complete the post-rotation questionnaire, medical students are given the opportunity to nominate a resident for the award. This year, Dr. Emily Wagstrom, Dr. Alicia Harrison, and I reviewed all the nominations and comments from rotating medical students over the past 2 years to select the winner. I'm happy to report that the selection was difficult because there were many compelling nominations. Nevertheless, one nominee stood out among their peers as the most deserving. This year's winner of the department's Resident Teaching Award is Dr. Michael Chow. Michael was nominated for the award by 3 different medical students at 3 different sites over 2 years. This shows the consistency and dedication with which he approaches the teaching of medical students. Here are a few examples of the comments made about Michael. He is an outstanding resident that really took an interest in teaching students and allowing us to help with clinical duties. He provided constructive instruction and was overall approachable person to talk to. Michael was an exceptional teacher among a batch of very strong, engaged residents. I consistently noticed him taking time out of his day to sit down and talk through what we needed to learn. He was incredibly kind and accessible. His patient care and interactions with staff set a great example of exemplary resident behavior. Every resident I worked with on this rotation was wonderful, and Michael managed to stand out as an educator even with such strong competition. These comments highlight not only active teaching, but kindness and professionalism. Warmest congratulations, Michael.
Next, I would like to announce the Resident as Role Model Award. The Resident as Role Model Award is presented to a resident that exemplifies the qualities of a good role model by taking an active role in educating the junior residents. This is sponsored by Dr. James House. The recipient of this year's Resident as Mentor Award is Dr. Lauren Zurich. Let me share with you some of the comments that were submitted with the overwhelming response voting Lauren Zurich as the Resident as Mentor Award. One of the residents wrote, "As a junior resident, Lauren Zurich is the senior resident I would aspire to be like. She goes out of her way to support our educational needs. When I first started taking primary call at Regions, she encouraged us to run every consult by her before they were discharged, even overnight, to make sure that we understood our consults and were comfortable with fracture conference in the morning. She was the chief that would stay late, making sure that every case was covered, even when she wasn't on call. We all know that rallying attendance for any journal club can be difficult, but she successfully ran our residency journal club. She organized OITE question review sessions with us every Sunday night leading up to OITEs and would take the time out of her weekend to run them. She would take the time out of her weekend on Sunday nights to run them. She was incredibly generous given our workload and limited extracurricular time during residency. I can't think of anyone more deserving than Lauren Zurich for the best resident role model. Congratulations, Lauren." Next, we will have the Resident Award for Outstanding Service at the Minneapolis VA, presented by Dr. Franklin Seacrest.
In the U.S. government, when an individual goes above and beyond the call of duty, that service deserves recognition. At the Minneapolis Veterans Affairs Medical Center, each year, we recognize one University of Minnesota orthopedic resident with the Minneapolis VAMC Orthopedic Resident Service Award. This award is presented to the orthopedic resident who has performed particularly impactful work within the Veterans Health Administration in one or more of the following areas: improving quality of care, improving patient safety, improving patient access to care, or improving disparities in care, all for veterans. The Resident Service Award also recognizes the orthopedic resident who, during the course of his or her tours at the Minneapolis VA, has best exemplified the institution's core values of integrity, commitment, advocacy, respect, and excellence, and who has made the most significant contribution to advancing the VHA's mission of service to those who served. This year, we proudly give this award to Dr. Brandon J. Kelly for his development of a novel clinical pathway for patients with hip arthritis. Allow me to please read Dr. Kelly's award summary. Dr. Kelly led efforts to improve the quality and safety of care for U.S. veterans with hip arthritis at the Minneapolis VA Medical Center, working in collaboration with key stakeholders including orthopedics, radiology, physical medicine and rehabilitation, and pharmacy. Dr. Kelly researched, developed, organized, and helped to implement an evidence-based clinical pathway to optimize and standardize the practice of hip intra-articular corticosteroid injections. His efforts led directly to a substantial decrease in patient morbidity associated with this commonly performed invasive procedure. This outstanding service to the Minneapolis VA Medical Center reflects great credit upon Dr. Kelly and upholds the highest traditions of healthcare delivery within the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Dr. Kelly, congratulations on earning this award. It is an honor to serve with you.
Next, we will have the G2 Golden Retractor Award from Regions, presented by Dr. Sarah Anderson.
Good evening. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Regions Orthopedic Trauma Resident of the Year Award. This is the Golden Retractor Award for Best G2 in our trauma center. The winner for this year has been described as Mr. Conscientious. Also, words used to describe him are integrity, intensity, interested, total trust, meaning we have total trust in him, as well as pervasively positive, energizing, and driven. And if you ever needed to feel a nice boost, just page him, he'll call you and call you boss, which always makes your day. Aside from being a general outstanding resident, this particular individual went above and beyond by providing me a consumer report advisement on which power drill to buy for the residents for placing traction. He also, without any guidance from faculty, solicited a hospitalist physician to come and talk to the residents about preoperative clearance to make sure that we were doing as much as we could do. All of these things added together make Eric Fritz our G2 Regions Ortho Trauma Resident of the Year. Congratulations, Eric, and thank you for all your work.
And to conclude our evening, we would like to present our Resident Teacher of the Year Award.
There are many great educators in our program, but this year as a class we found the decision of Teacher of the Year very easy to make. Dr. Bone topped all of our lists. When it comes to resident education, she is a jack of all trades. She gives engaging and interactive lectures. She started the Teacher of the Year curriculum. She sets a wonderful example of patient-centric care in clinic, and she really shines in the operating room. There, she helps us learn how to prepare for cases and also lets us take the lead as operating surgeon. She has also been a research mentor. She has also been a research mentor for many of us. But above all, we can tell how much she cares about each of us as people and not just as budding surgeons. Thank you, Dr. Bone, for all you have done for each one of us.
Good evening and congratulations to our graduates. Tonight is the culmination of decades of hard work, incredible support from your families and friends, trials and successes, heartbreaks and triumphs. I am astonished and delighted to accept this award. I can think of no honor I am more pleased to receive. That being said, I believe I'm supposed to leave you with some words of wisdom. You all know how I like to ask you to find and share an interesting scientific article to discuss in clinic each day. Well, we're not in clinic, but I have an article to discuss. It's called, Am I Cut Out for This? Transitioning from Surgical Trainee to Attending. It was published in 2017 by a group of general surgeons from Canada in the Journal of Surgical Education. I'll send you a copy. As medical trainees, you have gone through many educational transitions. At each stage of your medical training, you achieve a level of mastery and competence, only to abruptly transition to a new level of incompetence. By graduating to the next level, there is a shift in your identity that mandates acquisition of new knowledge and skills in order to fulfill the expectations of that new identity. This happens every July 1st, when you go from medical student to intern, from intern to junior resident, from junior resident to senior resident, and then to chief. In a few short weeks, you will each transition from being a competent, confident orthopedic surgery resident to an uncertain, incompetent fellow. But I think the most critical and difficult transition is the one from trainee to attending. Here, the fundamental shift in professional identity is most stark. Our article discusses the 4 stages of this transition: getting undressed, exposed and vulnerable, suiting up, and tailoring the fit. Everyone moves through these stages, but unlike residency, you are not surrounded by a peer group with the same experiences. Thus, nobody talks about this because they think they're the only one going through it. In the getting undressed phase, you will be expected to shed your identity as a trainee. You're expected to call senior attendings by their first name, sit in a different part of the conference room, avoid fraternizing with trainees, dress differently, and drive a nicer car. The patient sticker will, startlingly, have your name on it as the provider. You will no longer be a part of the trainee group, but it will take a while before you feel like you rightfully belong to the attending group. This is likely to be as distressing as it is exciting. This is normal. Hard as it may be to imagine, all of your attendings went through this. A little later, you will feel exposed and vulnerable. In this phase, you will feel self-doubt. Can I really do this? You'll wonder if you are even able to perform the procedure. You'll worry that you won't be able to deal with complications, that nurses in the room will know you don't know what you're doing. You will wonder how you will get through a clinic all by yourself, making all of the decisions on your own. It's here that you'll realize all of the things you don't know. Even though you are well trained, and I assure you, ready, this is a universal experience. This is normal. Part of the stress of this phase is that you must rapidly adapt to your new role and environment, often with little guidance. As you become more experienced, you'll begin to suit up. In this phase, you assume the role of orthopedic surgeon. Your confidence and feelings of competence will build. In the beginning, you may feel like you have to fake it till you make it, but as you build your identity and get into a groove, the anxiety and fear diminishes. This is normal. Finally, you'll tailor the fit of your career. As you accumulate successful cases, see friends of former patients, find a practice niche, build rapport with referring providers, take on leadership roles in your system, and be asked to double book patients, you will have a perfectly tailored suit. This is the phase in which you will spend most of your career, thankfully. This is the phase you have been working for all these years. Trust me, you will get there. This is normal. My heartfelt congratulations to all of you and the loved ones who helped you through.
Thank you, Dr. Van Hees, for allowing me to give the closing comments for this wonderful occasion. As part of that, I would like to echo Dr. Van Hees' welcome to all the families and friends who are watching the video and who have supported their family members, spouses, significant others during this 5-year period of educating these 7 outstanding surgeons. I'd like to congratulate each of you. It's truly a major achievement to not only be admitted to a residency program, but to complete one in such strong standing as each of you have. I'm very proud to say you're all superb clinicians and excellent surgeons. I wanted to thank the graduates for all their work over the past 5 years. This represents not only a lot of work, but patience on their part, as well as resilience, particularly resilience this year for a variety of reasons. One reason being that they have 7 residents instead of 8, and they've had to endure some challenges that are not typical of all of our classes. And then obviously the most recent challenges around the COVID pandemic and its effect on their educational experience. Just to put in perspective what we've accomplished here, if you take them as a group of 7 surgeons and you calculate out over a 30-year career for each of them what their impact will be, the number of patients that they'll operate on will roughly be able to fill TCF Bank Stadium twice. And in addition, this has a tremendous impact on their families. So you're about to influence in your careers hundreds of thousands of patients and families. I want to explicitly thank the families, the spouses, the significant others, the friends who've supported the residents during their residency. This is very challenging to go through a residency, and they've certainly done a great job, so thank you for that support. I wanted to thank all of the faculty and Dr. Van Hees' education team, specifically Eric Solberg, Elisa Boos, Kathleen Javer, Cole Homer, and all of our faculty at all of our sites for their commitment to education and the excellent product that they've achieved with this class. The future for each of our graduates is very bright. I would emphasize to each of you, if you remember anything from me, is that in your professional life, your top priority should always be your patients and their families. I look forward to seeing each of you in the future at our alumni reunions and other impromptu gatherings. And I want you to know that the faculty, the university, and our teams are always here to help you personally and professionally with whatever you may need. Thank you again to everyone for watching tonight's presentation, and I'm just so proud to be the chairman of a department that's educated 7 such wonderful clinicians and surgeons. Thank you and good night.